Hey, Sam.
No. 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 That's my bit. No. Hey, MK.
What, Sam?
Cross off your bingo card. We've said hey, MK. I'm 30 now.
That was this month. Yeah, this month has been going by so slow. I thought that was last month.
No. I am 30 years old now. Yes, my birthday has passed. I am in the retirement home now. It's very loud here.
You know, genuinely, I was not going to make any jokes this episode. Like, in my mind, I was like, you know what? No, we're going to give Sam a whole episode. And then you immediately make your own joke.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the podcast, where we see if MK can keep up that bit. So we have some stuff to talk about today.
We do? It feels very light in I feel like the Transformers news that's happened in the last, month or so, it feels very light. Did something happen? Did I miss something?
Well, there's this funny little film coming out called Transformers 1. Have you heard of it?
Never heard of it.
Oh, okay. Well, the trailer just came out. Yeah.
No, I don't believe you.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well,
no.
Well, it would be funny if we just kept out that whole bit, the whole podcast.
Just the whole episode was just us not believing in Transformers 1.
I mean, Matt did that for Rise of the Beast until the day he saw it.
What? He did?
He thoroughly believed that Rise of the Beast was not a real thing, despite all the trailers and marketing. He's like, nope, it's not a real thing. Up until he finally saw the movie.
That's the most Matt thing ever.
It is.
Well, no. The most Matt thing ever is him missing his exit right now.
Which he literally just did. Yeah. Anyway, so I take it you've seen the trailer.
Quite a bit. Couple times.
Yeah.
Couple times.
Yeah, me too. And I've been waiting. I specifically have not asked you for your opinion, because I thought it'd be great for me to first hear it on the podcast.
I feel like my views on the trailer are very complex, because I really enjoyed everything I saw. Like, overall, I'm really enjoyed it. I'm really excited. But I guess there is still a part of me that, I feel like I'm really going to like TF1. I'm still a little iffy on how the trailer was edited.
I kind of have the same opinion, I think.
Because it feels very... I'm going to get crucified for saying this. The trailer makes it feel very Super Mario movie to me, and I couldn't stand that movie. It's not that I couldn't stand it. Oh god, this is MK's hot take hour. I personally thought the Super Mario movie is I don't mean to be a film snob, but that was the one movie I watched the whole way through, and I enjoyed it. I didn't dislike it, but it felt very corporate to me. It felt like three businessmen who have never played Mario, never who just trying to relate to the kids nowadays, threw a script together, and then a team of passionate animators and a team of creatives did what they could with that movie, but at the fundamental level it was still made by just a bunch of corporate overlords. So that's what the trailer was giving me vibes of, but the genuine the trailer itself feels edited that way, but the actual content in the trailer doesn't. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I do get that sort of Mario movie feel, but the director has said that it's a more serious film, which I'm kind of hoping for, because we know it's the story of D16 and Orion, and I'm really hoping the tone I'm hoping that there's a shift somewhere in the middle where D16 becomes Megatron and stuff.
To me, the shot that really gives it away, and I want to go more into depth of this, I think the shot that really gives away that not everything is happy is the shot of the smoking hot Decepticon emblem that is clearly some sort of branding.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I wanted to bring up that whole bit of the trailer first is because I do agree. I do think it was edited for general audiences, but I feel like that's... When I say that was my one gripe, it's the most minor beyond minor gripes, because I do get why it was done that way.
When it comes to this trailer, and we knew it was coming, I didn't know what to expect, and we've only ever had that one sort of poster where it was the back of the characters and you saw Cybertron, and I was that doesn't really tell me enough of the style. And a lot of people were saying, oh, it might be like Spider-Verse, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be like Spider-Verse. Now, granted,
I agree too. I love Spider-Verse, but I don't. The reason why Spider-Verse was so good when it came out was because it was different. It was something that was unique. I don't want everything to replicate Spider-Verse. I want each thing, just like I don't want everything to be Pixar animation. I don't want everything to be a certain style. I don't want everything to be Spider-Verse, because the whole point of distinct styles and artistic freedom is letting the creatives, the animators, the directors pick a style and an animation that they want to do, not conforming to one style or the other.
you know, we see the very first shot, and it's D16 and Orion sitting on their chairs, and my first thought was, yes. Good. It's an animation style that I think I'm going to enjoy. It's like a highly detailed but clean sort of CGI, and I'm very happy with the style. And me personally, a few others don't really agree with me when I say this, but I get like it gives me the same vibes as the cutscenes, the fully CGI'd cutscenes from Fall of Cybertron, but a lot brighter.
There's one shot where I actually got that Fall of Cybertron vibe, and I feel like I'll talk about it more when we go more into the detail of the trailer, but it's the shot where Alita is driving, and then she transforms, she kicks the Viacon down, picks up the gun. Just the way the background was reminded me so much of the not the second CGI trailer, the one that used Cities in Dust.
Yes, that one. It you know, I'm very, because you mentioned it, and I will forget if I don't mention it. That shot of Alita like kicking the Viacon, if you look closely, her entire waist rotates 360, but her top half doesn't. Her top half stays still while her whole lower half spins 360 to kick the Viacon. It's really clever. It's just all my first impressions of this trailer were, yes, please, this is what I want. And
Real quick, I'm gonna be entirely honest. When you first brought up that Alita thing, I thought you were about to go on I went frame by frame and I noticed this animation error, and I was like, damn, the trailer's been out for a day, and then you were like, no, it's a really clever thing. I went, oh, okay, I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. I just love the way it looked. I love the style. I love the voice casting. I think the voice casting it works really well, especially for the young versions of these characters. And you know, a lot of people were saying, oh, Chris Hemsworth is just going to sound like Chris Hemsworth. And there were times where I didn't really realize it was him. There are some lines he says that just don't sound like him. And it's just, everything works for me.
Chris Hemsworth is doing a really good job. I think I like all the actors so far. Although the one I'm the most excited for is the one I haven't heard yet. Really curious to see what Steve Buscemi sounds
Steve
like.
Buscemi, yeah. Forgot about that.
Because I love Steve Buscemi as an actor. And I love his voice. And I just cannot wait to can't wait to hear him in the movie.
You know, I stumbled across a podcast earlier, and they were talking about this, and someone was like, this trailer looks like they're taking all the Transformers lore and just throwing it out the window. And I'm thinking, huh? Like,
if anything, it's following a lot of pre-established lore.
It completely is. Like, in what, like, Transformers, like, media today really refers to Megatron as D16, or when is Orion Pax, like, brought up. That's more like aligned continuity stuff that hasn't been mentioned for a while. And I like this. I like that it's way before the war. And I like I like what they're doing with the aesthetic for Cybertron. I get very Hollow Earth vibes from it.
I get very Beast Machines and Cybertron, because that's what Cybertron looked like in those shows.
Both things I haven't seen. But
yeah. I knew a second you brought up you weren't going to reference the versions of Cybertron that have like flora and fauna.
Yes.
Even Cyberverse to an extent. There's the whole like underground sequence in, I think it's season 3. There's a whole part where they go underground and there's so much more. It's still more techie, but it's so much more. There's plants, there's unique creatures.
Yeah, I found that interesting, and then how that's what's on the surface. And kind of gave me some ideas, because that's kind of a freeing concept for me. Maybe I can take some sets outside now to be like, yeah, this has some fauna and flora. But I also love the fact that inside Cybertron there are buildings on like the walls and the roof. Like it's like the whole innards of Cybertron is a complete city. And I love that, like, there's a part where they're using their jetpacks over what looks like a racetrack, which I think is
I wonder if it's the same racetrack that the sign references, the Icon 500.
It would have to be, and I think that's just a neat reference to Velocitron. And I'm just waiting for you to correct me and be like, no, it's something else, because I don't know enough. I am intrigued by Alpha Trion, because it looks like they're going for the old wizard at the top of a mountain story for him, is my kind of guess.
I dig that. I like the idea of Alpha Trion just being a weird old man.
Yeah.
Lives up north and is just like, yeah, learn to transform.
Yeah, I like that too. But there's one part with that sequence, and this is just because I'm an aligned continuity lover way too much, but Alpha Trion takes the T-Cogs from the other 13 primes and gives it to the bots. But the 13 primes didn't have T-Cogs in the original lore, so that's kind of what's getting to me. He's like, why you?
And I think the aligned lore, I don't know if it was that way in the. I don't know if it was that way in the original lore.
See, I only know the aligned continuity, but I'm open to like new things, right? If in this continuity they want to say the 13 primes had T-Cogs, then by all means that they had T-Cogs, and I think it's a neat concept that they have these holes in their chests that, you know, the T-Cogs will kind of activate their new bodies, and I love it. I love it so much.
A detail I really like is that I think one of my gripes I thought I was going to have is I don't like the idea of no one knowing how to transform. And then also, I think I even heard some people like, now I didn't publicly say these gripes because I'm very much I may have some ideas that pop in my head of like, maybe I won't like this, maybe I will, but I like to see the finished product. I don't like to jump to conclusions. But I feel like I saw a couple people also like, oh, when it was still before the trailer came out, it was still rumored like the plot would be about T-Cogs. It's like, oh, it's dumb that you know, the characters have to earn that they have to transform or things like that. And what I like is they specifically, I think there's a line where they specifically mention that they can't transform, but their Cybertronians can still transform. It's just like Optimus, Alita, Bumblebee, and Megatron at this point can't. Like, I forgot the exact line. I'll have to rewatch the trailer.
Well, yeah, because also in the very beginning, who I believe that was Darkwing, you see, there's no hole in his chest, and he's got vehicle mode parts like the wings.
Yeah. It was either Darkwing or G2 Dreadwing.
I love the song choice for it and how it kind of kicks in. I love that. But there's one thing I love the most, and it's when they're on the train and you see the train breach what I believe is the surface. The sunrise or set that's happening and the colors is very retro wave, because those are like what like the cover albums for retro wave songs look like. It's just like orangish purpley sunsets, and I was like, oh my god, this feels like a retro wave album. I love it so much, and I'm so excited. I am so excited, and it's just I think the one character that I think I'm gonna have to like, I hope he's not as comedic all the time. Like, I love what they're doing with Bumblebee, but I hope he gets some serious moments.
I think he will. I don't see them not doing that, but I don't mind it. Like, I was talking about this with someone earlier, but to me, I'm not for or against his humor and things like that. Like, I didn't laugh and think, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, but I don't hate it either. I feel like he's there for some people. Like, I know plenty of people, like, I know, obviously, we both know Gavin and Merit Movies. I know they both actually really enjoyed Bumblebee's humor, especially the opening line with him. I thought it was actually kind of a cute line. I think it's a good line for, like, you know, kids, and, like, I know it technically has swearing in it, but, you know, it's still something that, like, it still seems like a weird friend, despite there being swearing, it feels like a family-friendly type joke. But I feel like there's plenty of people that enjoy it. And my thing is, like, I I didn't get anything from the line. Like I didn't think, oh, this was hilarious. I didn't think, oh, this is so good for his character. But I didn't hate it. I didn't think, I was like, oh, that's just how this Bumblebee acts. Because I know plenty of people that say things or kind of nervous wrecks and say things to sound cooler. I'm talking to one, and I am one.
Now, like, I do feel like, just to me, it feels like maybe they're setting up a whole. Maybe his humor pisses off Megatron and rips his voice out. Like, I wonder if that's the thing they're gonna do this time around.
I think he's just a silly guy that's there for like family friendly tickets. I don't know. I feel like that seems like a bit extreme, like looking too much into it.
That's what I would do. Hey, fan film potentials. I find it interesting that they went with sort of a dark grayish black for Megatron's bucket head again. They haven't.
Marvel comic colors, let's go.
That was an interesting. Like it was nice to see. I've had to like speculate with like Coolerite, like what some of the bodies were where Alpha Trion was, and we're pretty sure like Onyx Prime is one of those bodies because he's got like giant wings coming out of his back, and obviously the giant Decepticon logo that like Megatron's touching has got to be the Fallen.
I realize I'm not very a speculative person. I especially like I used to be when I was younger, but now I'm someone who like even when Rise of the Beast were coming out with trades and stuff like that, I don't like to speculate things. I kind of just like to see the movie.
I can get behind that. I feel like I like speculating because it makes me feel like I'm making a film, you know? It's like, oh, like could this happen and this happen? And that just it feels satisfying because I get that same satisfaction when I'm like scripting a project or something.
I think for me is I get that satisfaction when I'm scripting because it's my own project, but I don't like speculating because then I feel like I'm putting too much of my ideas into someone else's project, and then I feel like maybe I'll be let down because I got in my own head when this is this creator's vision. This is this director's vision. I don't like to speculate because then I feel like I'm trying to put my own self into this director's vision and take away from the director. If that makes like, it's a very specific thing to me, I think. But it just like again, I've gone on like a lot of people know me. I talk about going on my like artist subjective journey, and like my view on consuming media and art has shifted so much in like the last 3 years than it was several years ago. Now I'm just kind of like let me just see what the director has made for me.
No, that does make sense, and because like I mean that's the nice thing about consuming art while being fan film creators ourselves is we get to do both, and that's what I really really enjoy. And when people speculate about TFI films, I try not to reply to them because 80% of them are sometimes right. They're pretty on the nose. I'm thinking, oh, well, there goes that surprise if I say anything. But yeah, with Transformers 1, I'm really loving everything that I'm seeing, and I just wonder, a lot of people saying that weird tentacle-ish alien they saw has got to be the Quintessons, and I want to agree, but like we've never seen more organic Quintessons as opposed to semi-robotic.
I feel like that's also just part of the way like certain styles have done them, because I feel like I've seen. See, here's the thing with the Quintessons though. In G1, the Quintessons were like 50. So like the Quintesson judges were very, very mechanical, but the what is it? The prosecutor? He had more of like his tentacles were fleshy. His face was he was still robotic, but it was a little less.
Now that leads me to question. In the regular aligned continuity, the Quintessons pretended to be the creators of the Transformers race on Cybertron, then they were rebelled against. In G1, they were the creators of the Transformers, and they were still rebelled against. I wonder what lore this one's following. Because the 13 Primes are clearly in this film's canon. So are the Quintessons going the route of just pretending? Or are they actually the creators? And I realize I'm speculating. Again, but I can't help it. I'm just so interested. Like and I strongly believe this film is what this franchise needs. I do think Transformers has always needed a Cybertron-based prequel, fully animated and a little more lighthearted.
Wow, you always thought this franchise needed exactly what Transformers 1 coming to theaters in August of 2024. Was it August?
September.
It's September. September. 1 month off. 1 month off. You always thought we needed the exact film that we're getting.
Honestly, yes. Yes.
I'm actually very happy with the direction. I like the campiness. So I recently started rewatching some episodes of G1 with someone, and I like my serious Transformers. Don't get me wrong. I like when the movies go more, and I do believe this movie will get more serious. But I like when the shows are a little grittier. I like when they follow a more serious story. But I also really like when G1 when it was just kind of silly. And I like this Transformers 1 feels very much like it takes the lighthearted silliness of G1 with the seriousness of like some later continuities and kind of puts them together. And I don't know, I really like the tone this movie's going for.
I feel like Earthspark kind of does the same thing.
See, I've also seen Earthspark comparisons with the way the faces look, and I've had a realization both with the tone and the animation. Earthspark and this movie, I don't actually think they look alike, but I think they both look like if G1 was turned into 3D, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think since they both kind of go for that look, there's some similarities, but I don't if you put them side by side, they don't look remotely the same to me. But I think you can clearly tell they both take that G1 inspiration. But what I like is both shows, they take that G1 inspiration, but they don't just repeat it. They don't just go, let's do G1 again. Watching Transformers 1, I don't feel like I'm watching G1. I don't feel like oh, look, we have this, we can't leave the 80s because of 80s nostalgia. Like, no, this feels like it's its own thing, especially with some of the designs, which I really like. But at the same time, it still keeps that heart and that core of what started Transformers.
Mm-hmm. And the movies, from what I'm seeing, especially with the studio series Optimus figure that got revealed, it's really given me an Optimus Cybertron alt mode that I think might be up there with my favorites, because, like, despite the War for Cybertron trilogy being my favorite Transformers show, apologies, his Cybertronian truck mode just looked like an Earth truck. Still for the most part, and I liked his alt mode in War and Fall, but I felt in War it looked a little too curvy, and in Fall Cybertron it looked a bit too much like a fist. This one, I feel, has a good mix of, you obviously know it's Optimus's like flat nose cab truck, but also it's angly enough and has like different shapes to it that make it feel alien, and I really like that. And another design choice I think that was clever is that, like, Orion / Optimus has smokestacks on his shoulders, when in reality smokestacks I don't think would serve too much of a purpose on Cybertron, but when he's in truck mode, they're boosters on the side. And I thought that was really clever.
Can't they also turn into guns, or is that just a toy thing?
I don't know. We never saw it in the trailer. I think that might just be a toy thing, but if it's a movie thing, I think that would be awesome.
I thought I saw somewhere where the smokestacks were guns. Something I found really interesting. I'm curious one thing. Okay, for those of you who know Transformers Twitter, the word choice I just used with the topic I'm about to go into is really funny, because I was going to bring up Alita, and I immediately unintentionally said, I'm curious. And anyway,
it's funny you say that, because as soon as you said, I'm curious, I was about to say, no, you're not. You're MK.
Yes. So anyway, if you don't follow It's Not Curious on Twitter.com, you should. But anyway, I'm really wondering if they're going to name her Ariel, because there's a theme where it's Orion Pax, D16, B127. So I'm like, is she just going to be Alita the whole time? Because I found it, are we getting is she going to be called Ariel at any point in the film? Or is it just going to be Alita the whole time?
I sort of think it might just be Alita the whole time, because, I mean, in G1 she got her name because, like, just like Optimus, she was like brutally murdered by Megatron and then got rebuilt. in this film, if they're going the original story route, then Orion becomes a Prime, therefore his name gets changed, and Megatron willingly changes his own name. And in the scene, they give B sort of a nickname off his own name. I don't know if
But even before they give him a nickname, he also is trying to look for a new name.
Yeah, maybe they'll touch on that in the very beginning.
I just think it'd be really weird to like give all of the 4 characters, 3 of them like end up getting their real names, and then Alita just has her name from the get-go.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I do hope that they call her Ariel. It would be kind of cool if she had that little like ponytail that she had in G1.
Also, I've noticed a weird thing with the trailers, how like Orion, he has the smokestacks at some point, but then he also like he has like mini ones, but then the like big ones pop out when he's transforming.
What I find interesting is that like Optimus has never been Orion for a long time in like shows or movies, so we're gonna have a lot of Orion moments.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, 100%.
Which is, I don't know, that's kind of refreshing. I'm not because yeah, it's been a minute since we've had anything on screen for Orion, and I do like that they made him sort of a minor bot as well, and because he's had multiple like jobs in the past.
Data clerk, librarian,
dock worker, cop.
I have so many comments on this trailer. I keep rewatching it. Like, I remember one concern I had when the first poster came out was, oh man, I was worried there was going to be so many like lookalike drones and that so many characters weren't going to show up. And then the trailer shows what could be Skywarp, shows Starscream, Shockwave, Soundwave. There's a shot of what is most likely Arachnid, and I'm just sitting there like, oh no, this is going to be full of Cybertronians we know. Oh, I'm just waiting because I guarantee you there is a shot where there is a drone that is colored like Brawn, and I want to believe it's Brawn.
There's a part where I feel like I saw Mirage. Again, this is just me assuming. But the part at the very end where B is like, the door was always broken, right? One of those 2 bots looks like Mirage. Like G1 Mirage.
My thing is, I've looked at that scene. A lot of people also say they can kind of see Greenlight in one of the bots too, but they still look more generic than they don't like that. That kind of has. I do get what you mean. It does have some of Mirage's helmet shape and the shoulder pads, just like kind of how the green one does kind of have Greenlight's like little headpiece. So I do. It's one of those things where I feel like it could go either way. I feel like there's not enough distinct features for it to be like, oh, 100%. It's not like a Starscream Shockwave Soundwave thing where it's like, oh, it's 100%. But it's also there. I'm like, there's enough details there. I can see it. I actually really like the colors of this movie. That was not an intentional segue, but I took it there because I've been thinking about how like very, very colorful the film is. And I love, we talked about this earlier with the environments, but one thing I like about when they do more natural Cybertron is so many continuities where they make Cybertron just a metal world. It always feels so gloomy to me.
Yes.
Like, how could you live your whole life on a planet where everything just is gray and metal, and where this trailer had so many colors, so many nice environments, everything popped, it was gorgeous.
Yeah, I have to agree. And it's also like I like the fact that they're giving, Cybertron sort of, green sort of foliage to it, cuz that way the audience won't get burnt out by the dark grays and the cuz I will say that's my one issue playing like War and Fall like one after the other is you get so burnt out by the grayness. So yeah, it's going to be nice. Like I swear, you know what I get? I get Forerunner world vibes, like from Halo. The very metallic metal worlds.
I can see that, yes, especially like Halo 4 Requiem. Yeah, very Halo 4 Requiem.
I think that's the exact vibes I'm getting from this Cybertron. Requiem. I'm liking it even more because that's.
No, even the like bright metal can come off as a little Forerunner-y. So yeah, no, oh no, I just made this Sam's favorite Transformers movie.
Thank you. No, I think this might be. I know it's a bit early to say, but
you've seen a trailer. Calm down.
No, 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 it's my new hyper focus.
Oh, you're gonna kill me. I'm gonna have to take a shot every time you say that.
Do you ever notice that Bumblebee looks like a Helldiver when his helmet's on?
He looks like Goldbug, like G1 Goldbug.
And a Helldiver.
Yeah, all you gotta do is give him little horns and paint his head blue and Goldbug. Some people have pointed out the model has weird little like panel lining on his head that looks like they could pop out. I really like the like camaraderie between Optimus and Megatron. I at first I think so. Brian Tyree Henry was the actor I was the most excited for. Then when I first saw the trailer, I was like, "Huh," I was expecting to do something else. And then after I warmed up to it, I'm like, "No, I actually really like it because he very much feels like I don't know. I really like the bond they're giving Megatron and Optimus, and I will always show up for Brian Tyree Henry. I am Brian Tyree Henry's number one fan. I've never disliked him in a movie.
I was expecting him to put on a little bit of a voice, but I realized that like I just see this as like a Megatron who's like 20 years old.
Yeah. I'm actually really curious what his Megatron voice will be, because we see in the trailer Megatron. Here's a distinct shot of Megatron. Not D16. There is Megatron with his like chin piece that looks kind of like a beard and the more like militarized helmet. Because his helmet throughout this is the more like smooth, almost Cyberverse helmet. But there is a shot where you get that classic, more militaristic bucket head. And he has that like chin piece. That is Megatron. And I'm really curious if he's going to do something different with his voice. Or even, I know Brian Tyree Henry is a decent enough actor. Even if he's doing the same voice, I can't wait to see him switch into an evil, like a villain,
Yeah, and I like that in the trailer we got to see Optimus and Megatron as themselves for at least a shot, which is nice. And if you look closely at Optimus, you can see the Matrix in his chest.
I also have a little detail that I know. Now listen, I'm going to eat my words here because this is technically speculation. It just stuck out to me because I saw people talking about the shot of the Decepticon emblem hitting the ground. And the trailer makes it seem like, because it says, before he was Megatron, and it's part of the shots where it's showing Megatron, not D16. However, D16 has a Decepticon symbol on his body already.
A little bit. If you look at it, it's not one-to-one with the Decepticon logo. It looks more like it looks slightly different, and it matches the Fallen's face.
I'm just wondering if like that's a logo he gave himself because he's had it from the beginning, or if it's something more was branded on him.
The way he's looking at the Fallen's face in that place there, it's looking like it's like, oh, here's my idol. Like my assumption that it's gonna go down that route of, oh, I love the Fallen. Here's his face. I got it tattooed on my shoulder.
I love the idea that he's a worker, but he has time to go tattoo on the weekend. He's like, you know what? You have to give me, you got a mind energon. Get back to work, Oh, well, you know what? You can go out for a weekend to get yourself the tattoo of your favorite guy's face.
See, the funny thing is, like, using that logic, I have an Autobot logo tattoo on my right shoulder. So by that definition, I have Primus' face tattooed on my shoulder.
Is he your idol now? Are you gonna like start a whole army and then like make people also get that tattoo of his face on their shoulders?
No, Primus an asshole. He's not my idol. Oh wait, so is the Fallen.
There is one thing I'm concerned about, and I want to know if you can, or not concerned about. There's one thing I'm not the biggest fan of, and I want to know if you can guess what it is.
One thing that you're not the biggest fan of?
What is something I don't like in Transformers media?
It's the fact that Megatron has orange eyes, but later he's got red eyes.
Can good characters just have red eyes? Why do red eyes have to mean bad guy? And Blue eyes mean good guy. Why can't eye color have nothing to do with... Give me the days of the Unicron trilogy where characters just had weird eyes and it was okay.
You know, you're the sole reason why I've stopped doing the whole red and blue means good and bad thing.
See, I can even forgive it in media if it weren't a case of... I can look past it. The only time it genuinely bugs me is specifically when their eyes turn from one color to another. Like when they turn bad, their eyes turn red, or when they turn good, their eyes turn blue. That is when it bothers me.
Yeah, see, no, you're the sole reason Hotspot Prime has red eyes.
Doesn't the toy have red eyes?
Yes, but so does the original Combiner Wars Hotspot. And his eyes were still blue.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Never noticed that.
Yeah, no, I've stopped doing that. And honestly, it's kind of been freeing. Because now these days I do, when I do the IFX, whatever color eyes the figure has, that's what I'll go with.
In a perfect world, Optimus would also have orangish yellow eyes in this film.
We did that with Heart Steel. Yeah, it would have been cool to see Optimus with orange eyes, and maybe his eyes turned blue. And no, you wouldn't like that.
Yeah, see, that's why immediately after I said the words, I went, wait a minute. I take that back, because I know if I got him with yellow eyes, they would be yellow, and then he becomes Optimus Prime, and they go blue. And so never mind, I take it back. This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, because it's like even in the War for Cybertron trilogy, Jetfire, despite being on the Decepticons, had blue eyes. And you're like, oh, they're going to do the change to Autobot because he's got blue eyes. If the eye color's the thing you're complaining about, take that as a good thing.
Thank you. Oh, that's actually... See, that's a better way. I was just going to look at it as like, I can suck it up because not everything has to cater to my needs, but that's a much more positive way of looking at it. It's like, wow, I'm looking for flaws so much, I am going to I'm looking at the most minor details. Real quick, how you mentioned in that shot in the movie you could see the Matrix?
Yeah.
Now, this is obviously because toys don't always show what's in the movie, but I'm now looking at the box art of the Studio Series Optimus, and it shows him holding a Matrix.
So we know that's coming into play.
Also, the box art on the front has the Matrix glowing. Well, I guess you could argue that was the T-Cog, but it has the glowing Matrix inside the
When it comes to this film and talking about things that we don't like, I do want to express, because like the whole thing with like the voice casting and the style has really sparked a debate among the community, and like honestly, it's not a bad thing to dislike the casting or the style choice or even the animation choice. It's definitely not. It's okay to love it. It's okay to not love it. And if this film is not for you, it's not for you. I'm very happy that I like everything that I've been seeing. So now I get to be even more excited. I get to realize that this film is real. And it is going to be marketed, and there have been toy reveals, and it's just I'm ready to be excited again. I was excited for Rise of the
Can you believe the toy basically got revealed like basically around the time it was supposed to?
Yeah.
Like it leaked like the night before, I think, and it was the product photos that leaked. Like that was so nice.
That's like the closest we've ever got to things lining up.
I love when that happens. I love when that comes out of nowhere. Cause that really came out of nowhere. It was just like, hey, I mean, obviously we knew they were going to be making Transformers 1 toys, but like it was just nice not seeing the toy 4 months before we even see the trailer.
Apparently, like a frame from the trailer got leaked 1 hour before the trailer actually went live.
I wonder which frame. Do you know?
Yeah, I do know. It was because apparently it got ruined for someone. I don't remember who, but it got ruined for some of us. And apparently it was just a shot of Optimus, or no, Orion and D. See.
Yeah, no, we will never get it. The movie's gonna be out, and we're not gonna get it.
It's a shot of Orion and D16 like in the bushes with like the shocked look on their faces.
I'm gonna be entirely honest. That is the best shot that could have leaked. That is, like, the best shot that could have leaked. Imagine if, like, the Starscream Shockwave Soundwave shot leaked.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
Or, like, the shot of Optimus or Megatron. Like, those would have been, like, terrible shots to leak. This film's coming out this year, and I'm really excited. There's also some more Transformers movie news that happened that I am incredibly excited for.
Well, now here's where we're gonna be a little bit divided.
Because my favorite thing, and this also came to Rise of the Beasts, is when they did for context, Rise of the Beast slash the sequel to Rise of the Beast, which is a G.I. Joe crossover, has been officially confirmed, and thank God, I am so ready. Give me G.I. Joe and Transformers because they have been connected since the get-go, and they have always meant to be connected. Anyway, my favorite thing is when they were like, they did the card reveal at the end of, Rise of the Beast, and people go, oh, that should have been Sector 7, that should have been Nest. So what you're saying is you would rather a generic military that has very little standing in lore and provides not much to the plot other than a name, but instead of the military franchise that has been a part of Transformers history from the very beginning.
And see, like, my point of view comes from literally the stance of, I know nothing about G.I. Joe.
Which, to me, that makes this movie a good thing. I'm excited to, like, I don't know. I get excited when there's, like, a part of the lore that I'm not that interested, or maybe not that interested in, but maybe I don't know. When a movie's going to tackle that, I'm excited for that. I'm excited. I don't get the mindset of not liking something because you don't know it, because for me, like, I love Transformers. I want to learn more about Transformers, so I'm excited. I would have been excited that Transformers was getting a G.I. Joe crossover because that's learning more about Transformers and its history.
Yeah, see, I will definitely take it as an opportunity to, like, learn more about G.I. Joe while enjoying, Transformers stuff.
I was gonna say you could also just do the Skybound comic because they're connected as well.
It's a little hard for me to get excited for, only just because, and I'm like this with every Transformers film. It's one thing to announce the film, but I still have to wait. I still have to wait to see a title. I still have to wait to see a clip, a casting. So it's like I will become more excited about it, regardless if G.I. Joe is part of it or not, until I start seeing something. Like, my hype for TF1 has now been kickstarted because I've finally seen a trailer. For the Transformers G.I. Joe crossover, at the moment, I'm not excited. I'm definitely curious. And I knew that was coming. I did. I'm genuinely interested, and it is something I will 100% give a chance to.
So, my whole thing is, like I said, I don't mind people who actually don't like G.I. Joe. I feel like my issue is too many people are. I'm gonna make a reference to SpongeBob, that episode where Squidward's like hating the Krabby Patty and then like refuses to try it, and then when he finally tries it, he likes it. Too many people I feel like are like that with G.I. Joe, or they've only seen like the live action movies, because most of the complaints I've seen about G.I. Joe, and most of the people who say they don't like G.I. Joe, or the things they don't, it's like, okay, so you haven't actually consumed G.I. Joe media. You actually don't. It'd be like saying, oh, I don't like Transformers because I don't like robots. I think I prefer when characters have, when characters have emotions and they're really, they're like sentient beings, It's like, so you've looked at a poster of Transformers, saw their robots, and didn't go anything past that. Like, that's how I feel like when I see a lot of complaints about G.I. Joe, it's always like, oh, I don't like G.I. Joe because I don't like how it's just a show that's about the American military. It's like, G.I. Joe could be far from that. Most G.I. Joe stories are them either critiquing the government. Yes, the original G.I. Joe toy made in like the 60s was very much a propaganda toy of like, hey, here, get your Soldier Man. And even in the 80s cartoon, the Sunbow comic, because it was a Saturday morning cartoon at the time, it was a Saturday morning cartoon during the Cold War. Everything was propagandized during that era. Even Transformers to an extent was. Like, yes, you will get that straight up just, hey, we're America and we're the greatest. But most G.I. Joe stories nowadays don't focus on that at all. And a lot of stories, like one of the best G.I. Joe shows is Renegade. I'm saying the most cold G.I. Joe takes. But like Renegades, the whole point of Renegades is the G.I. Joes are on the run from the government. It's a critique of the military. So like, it's just a case, like, I feel like people need to indulge a bit more into the G.I. Joe lore. The Duke comic, great example. Duke's AWOL in the Duke run. I haven't caught up on the Duke run, so I don't know if he's still AWOL. But at the start of the run, Duke has gone AWOL.
Yeah, it's my whole thing with GI Joe is it literally just comes from the fact that I don't know enough and I haven't given it a shot, and I feel for me like when Skybound, when it eventually crosses over entirely, and if there's context I need, I'll definitely give like the GI Joe comics a read. But I realize all my arguments are just going to be, yeah, that's why you should do GI Joe. Because because it's the military tying with Transformers. Yeah, GI Joe.
No, one of my favorite things is that, like, again, a lot of the complaints I see with G.I. Joe is like, oh, it's just the military. And it's like, but you guys, you're like, I would rather Nest, which is exactly what Nest is exactly what people think G.I. Joe is. Which I enjoy Nest. I enjoyed the live action movies. I enjoyed the aspects. Like I said, I love that that we're doing a Nest show at some point, you know. But just give it a chance. That's my whole... I realized I was coming off a little mean. Like I said, I've said it, this is my third time. You don't like G.I. Joe, that's fine. But I feel too many people are just shooting it down without giving it a chance. Give it a chance. If you don't like it after you watch the crossover movie, alright, that's fine. If you watched Renegades, the show wasn't for you, alright, you don't have to force yourself to like G.I. Joe. But I just want people to give it a chance. I just want people to give it a shot.
I can definitely see me, like, watching the crossover film, coming out of it going, it wasn't for me, or all right, time to get comics.
I know you, Sam. If I know what's gonna happen is that crossover film's gonna come out, and 5 minutes after it, you're going to be like, so I bought like 6 G.I. Joe classified figures.
Just to gaslight you, I'm gonna pretend I hate it.
And then this one timeline where you do actually hate it. No, I also say this because I've been getting people into G.I. Joe now too. I've become a Jehovah's Witness of G.I. Joe. Would you like to talk about our Lord and Savior, G.I. Joe, a real American hero? Do you have a minute to talk about Duke and Scarlet and Snake Eyes and Spirit Iron Knife and Bazooka, Gung Ho? Do you have a minute to talk about these? Do you know how I got Gavin into G.I. Joe?
How?
I took him to a toy store. I pointed out a G.I. Joe. No, I didn't even point out. He pointed it out to himself. He was already reading some of the comics. But earlier, Gavin and I went to a Walmart. And Gavin now loves the G.I. Joe character Gung Ho. And the reason Gavin loves Gung Ho is because we went to Walmart. There was one Gung Ho on the top. You know, like when you go to Walmart, there's like the shelf, like above the aisle, there's where they just put the excess like stock.
Yeah.
There was a Gung Ho over there. Gavin reached up, pulled it down, and goes, "What's this?" And I go, "Oh, that's Gung Ho. I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about him." And he goes, "He looks really cool." And I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, "I'm getting him." And now he's like Gung Ho's biggest fan.
Of course.
That will be you one day.
Hopefully. Okay, no, you can't say that. I'm gonna purposefully try to hate it.
I'm saying hopefully because I don't like. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. It's just I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it for your sake too, because it would suck if like a new Transformers movie came out and you just saw it and like the Joe ruined it that much for you that you're like, this is just bad.
I can't see it being that way. I like what I like and don't like what I don't like, but like I like to think I have an open mind. Like I'm definitely going to give it its absolute fair chance. I'm show me a title, show me some news, and be like, all right, I can get excited because I've never seen the live action G.I. Joe film, so I'm not even comparing it to that.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't, and I think people. I don't think a lot of people have seen them. I think people just get the wrong impression because they saw The Rock on the poster once. The G.I. Joe live action movies are something. I feel like the G.I. Joe live action movies are really good to watch after you've already gotten into G.I. Joe. And then to go back because they're very silly. But I don't think they're really good introduction material.
I just believe there's no Transformers movie I couldn't like, because I liked The Last Night.
Me too. Oh, the other complaint I've seen is people talking about how they're worried about Transformers juggling so many characters, and I could see that, but also, I don't know. I would like to at least see the director give it a shot. if it comes out and it is an absolute mess, it's chaotic because they've juggled too many ideas. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But I don't know. I feel like just shooting it off from concept is not giving it a fair shot. I feel like, if the movie comes out and it fumbled, then all right, maybe don't do another crossover for a bit. But give it a shot. Again, I feel like that's my entire thing I'm trying to point out. Just give it a shot.
I feel like that's what Transformers movies need to keep doing, is just trying new things.
That's what I've liked about, like, every Transformers movie since the end of because, I like the Bay movies, but the Bay movies started getting that formula where, like, I've liked since the Bay movies, every Transformers movie has been something different, unique, and they're just, Bumblebee was a small scale focused on a human and one Cybertronian. I mean, there were Decepticons were in it, but, like, it was Bumblebee. It was a very small scale movie for the Transformers, which you don't get with Transformers. Then you move to something like Rise of the Beast, which is the opposite. It went bigger than, it's the first live action movie to tackle it's the first live action movie to actually tackle Unicron, where he's a character in it. He's not just a plot device. He's technically a plot device in Rise of the Beast too, but he speaks. Okay, that's my excuse. He speaks and he eats a planet. It tackles the Maximals. It didn't have Decepticons as the villains. It had one Decepticon in the whole film. No, it didn't. That got cut. What am I saying? It didn't have a single Decepticon in the film. I gaslit myself into thinking Transit was real.
Oh, Transit is real.
He was always real to me. Transformers 1 is a fully animated movie taking place entirely on Cybertron. Let us have one G.I. Joe crossover. Let them try it. Let them do something fun. Again, if it fails, it fails. I'll eat my words. I will. But just let them have fun with it.
Let them have fun.
I have a question for you, Sam. Because this is the TFI podcast, and we've spent an hour, give or take, talking about movies that are not ours. Any updates on any projects?
A little one. I had a 2-hour filming session for Gigawatt 4 the other day. I shot... Thanks, Blur. I shot the final battle, and in 2 hours, I filmed 108 shots. I was so burnt out by the end of that shoot. I was like, I don't even want to edit. I just want to go to bed.
Because we dropped the trailer this month.
Yes. There's finally enough to start pulling from to make trailers, and now there's even more. Because, like, Cooler and we came up with a list of all the things we don't want to show. And the trailer we released broke one of those rules, but it's a more lenient one. We're more okay with it.
Is it the shot of the was it the Hearts of Steel shot?
Sort of. That was kind of finicky, but it was the fact that at one point you see the Fallen's, like, Ancient One jet mode.
Oh. But we talked about that on the podcast too.
Yeah. Well, not giving context for that part, but one of our rules was, like, just don't show too much of, like, the Fallen and, like, what he can do. There's a lot of surprises that we're trying to keep, but that project's like maybe 40% filmed, maybe a tiny bit more. There's a lot to go still. And then right after that, we're going straight to Steeljaws. Originally between, like, February and, like, summer, I was going to work on the Dark of the Moon original ending, which I still want to make, but I'm running out of time a lot quicker than I expected, which is ironic.
It's going on the TFI Creations the TFI Creations shelf of, when we shelf a project, it doesn't actually get shelved. We put it on, we physically put it on a shelf that Sam just kind of, like, will look over, like, menacingly and go, okay, it's time.
It is time. Yeah, because I thought I was going to have more time between February and, like, the release of Gigawatt 4. That's not happening, and it's because Gigawatt 4
is a big film.
Yeah, and it involves a lot of seasonal changes. As we explained, different universes will have different seasons. And warmer weather's on the rise, and I got to make sure I shoot all the springtime stuff needed. And I have a piece of paper here with all the scenes needed in which season, and I realize summertime only has a handful, while springtime is like 15 scenes. I'm like, oh my god, I have so much to film in such a short span of time. And I also want to make sure that like I don't rush them, because these sequences are very, very important and emotional and drive the story, and there's no room for reshoots. Because like if there's any errors in the winter stuff, tough shit.
Yeah.
It's done.
This is the most strict deadline you've had since the remake.
Yeah, and I'm not a deadline guy, but this and the Interstellar remake there was no choice.
It's gonna kill you if you get this finished in like a couple months, though. That's the one downside to the deadline, is you're gonna get it finished, and you're just gonna have to sit on it for like a couple weeks.
That is gonna kill me if that is the case. But I did say to Cooler, I enjoy that I have time, because I can take my time with each scene and each effect, and
as long as it's not winter or spring.
If any errors in that, it's green screen and stock footage. It's what's going to have to be to fix it. But other than that, that's pretty much what I've been working on, and slowly collecting figures for Steel Jaws. I'm thinking maybe changing out Outback for Cannonball for some story reasons there that could work. But yeah, pretty much just Gigawatt 4 is on track. It's on schedule, and it's going good. Schedule.
So, question, because I know someone is going to bring this up. Do you think you might do Transformers 1 videos? I mean, obviously it depends on the film coming out, but are you opposed to, if you come out of that theater and have ideas, are you opposed to doing them?
Oh god, no. I'm gonna come out of that movie and I'm gonna have ideas.
Yeah, because you know people are gonna ask. So I just want to get out of the way. The idea of there being Transformers 1 fan films is not off the table.
It's definitely not. It all depends on if I love the movie. If I love the movie and I think there's stuff to pull from, absolutely.
Quick question from our last episode too. Bumblemeister asked if there's been any more talk about our Herbie collab that was teased.
It's funny you mention that, because a friend sent a picture of a third-party Bumblebee figure that's an all-white Volkswagen Bug that someone painted to be like Herbie. I still do want to make a Herbie film for sure. But that's one of those, as MK said, it's on the shelf and I glare at it every now and then.
Yeah. I think there's only been one film you have permanently canned. The Ironhide Interstellar spinoff.
Oh yeah, I had no interest for that.
I don't think anyone knows what that is. I think there's maybe 3 people that watch this podcast that will know what that is. I feel like a fun note to end it on is talking about that Ironhide video, because you posted a trailer for it. It was a test, or I don't even think you officially announced it was going to be a spinoff. Did you?
I don't remember, because that was like 9 years ago.
I know. You posted a test transformation Ironhide video, and I actually found out behind the scenes, but I remember I was told about this project that you were working on, and then at the end, I think you posted the test footage, and I think there was whispers of you doing it, and then it never came to be.
I just lost motivation for it, and I kind of wanted to just move on, right? Because the next project was Mad Megatron and then roll out, and I wanted to just move forward from it, because Interstellar was such a long project when I first started, and it just didn't. The original Ironhide, because for those who don't know, yeah, that was going to be part of the original series 10 years ago. I didn't have that, oh yes, let's do this. It was more of a, I had a brand new figure and I wanted to do something with it. But then I lost all motivation because I just didn't care enough.
Do you remember anything about its plot?
No. All I remember was that it was going to take place before the first season on Earth, having to do with like just after all the humans were like evacuated.
After they were executed.
Well, it's, some escape. There's that shuttle at the end of the original season, but Well, also in the fourth season, like he finds like a rover that was sent to Earth, and
Yeah.
he's like they must be out there because there's this thing.
And then he was right.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, but with the Interstellar remake, especially with like Escape from Earth, Ironhide being there helping humans evacuate, that was meant to be sort of a, I had that idea. There it is for like 2 frames.
2 frames and then blows up.
Yeah.
It says one line and then dies.
We've got to keep moving. Is that all we have to talk about? Is there anything else?
I think so. Yeah, no, I think that was... I'm glad it was long, because I feel like the last couple episodes have been kind of short, and there wasn't much to talk about. I feel like this was very long, very nice. I feel like we had a genuine, nice discussion.
Yes, because we're both talking about something new to actually, have good opinions on.
I'm excited about Transformers 1. I'm excited about Rise of the Real American Hero. I'm excited...
I hope sometime this year on a podcast we get to talk about Reactivate.
Oh, one can dream.
But, that's not real.
It's not real. Remember when toys came out like a year ago?
Because I really like those toys. I think they're great.
I remember when the toys were coming out and everyone was like, oh, we're going to get game news. Nope.
I'm actually a strong believer that, like, the Transformers Reactivate Optimus works as the Earth version of Transformers 1 Optimus. Because they look like they match the aesthetic. What if it's connected? Oh my god. Transformers 1 Reactivate.
Stop speculating. I'm going to just reach through the... And this is my last episode on the podcast. Get your bingo cards out.
Yes, all right. Get ready to strike another one. We're going to wrap this up here. MK.
Thanks as always for getting the ball rolling, or thank you as always for getting the ball rolling and really making me do this, blah, blah, blah.
It's been officially 12 months that we've been doing this.
It's only been 12 episodes. Actually, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't feel that long. We're on, the same amount of episodes as Origins Unknown?
I honestly, I think next month I'm just going to, listen to all of them in one sitting while, playing a game or...
That's, 6 hours of content.
You realize I work 8-hour shifts. I have the time.
That's fair.
But yeah, I kind of want to do that. But yes, MK, thank you very much for getting the ball. What am I doing? Thank you very much for getting the ball rolling.
You're tapping into Blitzcrank or Blitzwing.
Blitzwing.
I don't make fun of your stutter.
I am. I am that guy who points out people's verbal.
I don't make fun of your speech impediments. Don't make fun of mine.
As always, leave your comments or questions below, and honestly, we would love to hear what you guys thought of the Transformers 1 trailer. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you love? What did you not love?
If you are very passionately anti G.I. Joe, please leave me a strongly worded comment telling me off. Telling me how wrong I am.
Like I say, if you're a strongly hearted G.I. Joe not fan, please unsubscribe.
No. I need you to leave a comment. Tell me how wrong I am. Leave 100 comments telling me how wrong I am.
Don't commit to the bit.
No, do. Drives up engagement.
Fair. All right, so we will end it here. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you all in episode 13.
Ooh. Right this time.
Yippee!
Yippee! Yippee! Yippee! Oh.
Fairly well.
I forgot you didn't do your fairly well. The yippee yippee was meant to be after the recording ended.